Old Grumpy Hunter here. Welcome to the third in this series on the Death by Bunjie and Old Grumpy Hunter calculator joint project. I was about to upload this video a week or so ago, and Rich wanted some changes to the calculators that I was talking about. In this video, I'll be talking about the arrow weight used by the manufacturer to get its stated specs, our complex crossbow ballistics calculator, and our simple crossbow ballistics calculator. As you know, all of our calculators have some default values based on the 5 different crossbows between the Death by Bunjie family and Old Grumpy Hunter. These calculators automatically calculate the results based on the defaults when first opened. All of our calculators do not have to have the page refreshed when changing values. 3. All of our calculators have a section that explains the calculator. 4. All of our calculators have an area that lets you open any of the other calculators. If you do a right click on the menu, you have an option to open any of the other calculators in a new tab, which means you can have all 15 open at one time. Please remember that these calculators are just tools, and the results produced by these calculators may or may not be the actual results you get. Bow manufacturers like to put big numbers on their boxes. Most of the time, these numbers are only the speed and the kinetic energy. Please remember that the stated speed, most time you'll find an asterisk. Yes, that dreaded asterisk. And with some diligent searching on the box, somewhere in fine print you'll find a phrase, something that reads like this: speeds up to XXX feet per second.
What does that mean?
In a nutshell, it means if you don't use the same arrow weight as the manufacturer did in their testing, your speed is not going to be what is on the big print.
How do I know what arrow weight they used?
Sometimes the test arrow weight is on the box in fine print. Most times, not.
The arrows that came in the crossbow kit I purchased are the correct weights, right?
Maybe they are, or maybe they're not. I say that because when I purchased my first crossbow, the ad stated the recommended arrow length was 18 inches. But the arrows included in the kit were 20 inches long. Those 2 inches increased the weight and decreased the initial speed.
Now I'm really confused. The arrows in the kit may not be the same weight as the test arrows. How do I find the test arrow weight?
You can take the 2 big numbers on the box and reverse engineer the kinetic energy formula. KE equals 1/2 mass times velocity squared. But first you'll need to change the velocity from feet per second to meters per second, the kinetic energy from foot-pounds to joules, and then, in the end, kilograms to grains.
There has to be an easier way.
Yes, there is, and that is our arrow weight used to get manufacturer's stated specs calculator. With this calculator, we have done all the conversions for you. Besides with the test arrow weight, we provide you with the momentum and slugs of the said test arrow at the time of launch. Just enter the 2 big numbers from the box, click the button, and there you are. The test arrow estimated weight is in grains and momentum. The reason we say estimated is because we don't know how the manufacturer calculated their kinetic energy. In previous episodes, I have talked about the different ways to calculate kinetic energy, and Rich has also. All of our calculators that include kinetic energy take both the arrow weight in grains and the arrow's initial speed and convert those into kilograms and meters per second, respectively, before calculating the kinetic energy, and then the result is converted into foot-pounds. Even with all those conversions, we feel that this method produces the most accurate results. Now, moving on to our ballistics calculators. These calculators provide the same information, but one assumes some basic information, while the other has inputs that can be customized. These calculators default to the initial speed and weight that are set to the 400 rule. That's the rule from Death by Bunjie's latest book, The Death by Bunjie Crossbow Method, Strategies for Crossbow Hunting Success, which can be purchased from his website. I'm going to talk about the crossbow ballistics calculator, the more complex one, first, because you get to change all these different variables. We offer this version so you can fine-tune your results.
This calculator has 8 input areas: initial speed, feet per second, arrow weight in grains, shooting angle in degrees, arrow length in inches, shaft diameter in inches, vein length in inches, vein height in inches, and yardage stops.
The results of this calculator are based on plastic vanes, since the majority of the crossbow users are not shooting arrows with feather vanes. Yes, we know there are people out there with feather vanes. The results are not going to be that much different. The first 7 inputs are usable adjustable within the stated range of the input areas, where the yardage stops is a choice of the results displayed. As said before, you can adjust these inputs based on your arrow specs. All these inputs, well, numbers 1 through 7, affect the drag of the arrow. Drag causes the arrow to slow down and causes gravity to have a better chance of pulling it downward. The default values for numbers 4 through 7 are very close to most stock arrows, but you may or may not have to change these to the initial speed and weight that are set to the 400 rule. That's the rule from Death by Bunjie's latest book. The launch angle is a starting point, which most likely is too low. Make changes and see what happens. Once again, this is just a tool to help you get an idea of what's happening with your arrow with different changes. Most likely you're going to have to change the shaft diameter to match whatever current arrow diameter is. The best way to make sure that what it is use a caliper or a micrometer. The default value for the diameter is set to the most common diameter that we can determine. The common arrow shaft length ranges between 16.5 and 22, with the most common being 20. There are some 18 inchers out there. Again, set that value to the length of your arrows. Now, if you're not interested in changing all those variables and you want to do something quick and dirty, just use our simple crossbow ballistics calculator and still have some idea what's going on with the ballistics. The simple crossbow calculator works just the same as the complex version, but it assumes all the defaults of the complex version. There are only 3 input areas: initial speed, arrow weight, and again your yardage stops. Both of these calculators provide the same information: arrow rise and fall in inches, flight time in seconds, speed in feet per second, kinetic energy in foot-pounds, and momentum in slugs. Depending on which yardage stops you choose, your results will be every yard for 20 yards or every 5 yards for 120 yards. Please note that neither Death by Bunjie or Old Grumpy Hunter are suggesting taking shots at an animal at 120 yards with a crossbow. That information is provided just for informational purposes.
Thank you for watching this Old Grumpy Hunter presentation. Please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to push the notification bell.